So this may be a little late, but I wanted to go ahead and do it anyway because I enjoy. Before I start, I should have. There we go. I probably should have done this earlier, but life, you know. So here we are. It's not a secret that I really like the MCU. I like a lot of what they've done. I really enjoyed Daredevil. I enjoyed it for its darker tones and the fact that it was essentially a 13-hour movie, which gives you a lot of opportunity to explore characters. So I was looking forward to Jessica Jones, even though I knew nothing about Jessica Jones. Uh, we'll do one of those, hey, stop watching here, spoiler things. So, right, we're spoiler free right now. I didn't know much about Jessica Jones. I like Kristen Ritter. I liked her in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. I liked her again in Breaking Bad. She was also in Gilmore Girls for a little bit. My friend Russ describes her as a national treasure. I don't know that I'd go that far, but I do like Kristen Ritter. So, I like Daredevil. I like Kristen Ritter. And they tell me Jessica Jones is going to be like Daredevil with Kristen Ritter. And I thought, okay, I'm in. I'm good. Let's watch it. And I really liked it. I had one or two little issues, but overall, I like Jessica Jones. It is even darker than Daredevil. My God, after the ending of the first episode, I had to readjust mentally and go, okay, so this is what we're in for. Dark. Okay, got it. Um, I really like Luke Cage in this show. I totally would like to hang out with Luke Cage. I don't think he'd waste his time hanging out with me, but yeah. So I guess that's as spoiler free as you can get. Overall, very positive. I'd like to see another season. I'd like to see where it goes next. I'm looking forward to seeing her again in The Defenders. Yeah? Um, I'll say this before we get into specific spoilers. I enjoyed the series so much that I went ahead and tracked down. Oh, sorry, it's heavy. Tracked down the Omnibus. This is all of the Alias, which is the Jessica Jones series for Max. And it's followed by this, where she was incorporated into the main Marvel Universe. This is a much darker tone. It's much heavier. There's more language. This doesn't... They're continuous. The story carries over. It's just, this doesn't have as much of an edge. And I don't mean that as a complaint, just as a warning of tonal difference. It still works. This one's not cheap, but I really like it. And one of the things I really liked about reading it is, I'm just showing random artwork here. There's the camera. One of the things I really liked about going through and reading this after watching the TV series is that the TV series did not lift directly from any one storyline. So as I was reading this, there wasn't any, oh, hey, this is the story that I just finished watching. It lifts elements. There are similarities. There are characters in here that aren't in the TV series. The book is actually really good for that. It has a lot more cameos from other superheroes. The Avengers are in here a lot. Because Jessica Jones apparently was almost an Avenger. She was offered the opportunity by Nick Fury. She's friends with Ms. Marvel. She goes running to Avengers Mansion a lot. So that's one of the things. The superheroes show up a lot more here. One of my favorite scenes, I think, in here, and it's not related to any plot or anything. She's on a date with somebody. You can read the comic if you want. She's just on a date with another superhero. They're trying. It's like a first date, and they're sitting outside in front of a restaurant. And as they're talking, Doc Ock comes squishing, or not squishing, but he comes charging down the street on his tentacle legs, like smashing cars. And some innocent bystander, my car! And Spider-Man's chasing him, and that just goes right past their date and keeps going. Should we chase after him? Nah, he's got it. And then they go on with their date. And I liked that because it's one of those things that I've always found fascinating about the Marvel Universe, the idea that, okay, you've got all these superheroes running around, but there's regular people trying to live here too. I did a vlog at some point, I'm not sure if I posted it or not, about like owning a car in superhero movies. Like, man, that was my car! Does insurance cover Acts of Thor? So Jessica Jones kind of straddles that world in Alias, especially. More in the comic book. She straddles, trying to live an everyday life, even though she has superpowers, but you see her more often surrounded by normal people, and normal people reacting to superhero presence. There's a hospital at one point that refuses to treat her because she's a superhero, and God knows what's going to happen. Toxic gas could come flowing out of her. No, she needs to go to one of those places for, So that's if you enjoyed the TV show, it's worth picking one of these up because it's not going to be unfamiliar to you, but it's different stories. There are some elements that are pulled out, but it's not a direct retread at all. And I really like that. So can we go spoilers now, please? Because I'm tired of dancing around stuff. Spoilers. You remember in Daredevil, like one of the things that made it all sink home for us was like that one continuous shot of him just going in rooms and fight. Like I think it was in the second episode, and it was great, the fight scene. The second episode of Jessica Jones had a similar moment for me, at least, because it was Jessica and Luke Cage in a barroom brawl with normal guys. It wasn't an elegantly choreographed fight scene where you were just like, oh my gosh, check out the skill. It was comedic almost to just watch Luke Cage casually go, and the dude goes flying across the room. I like that because, again, it's straddling that realm of super and normal, which you don't get very often. In the movies, it's mostly supers against supers, right? Or the normals, if there is a normal, they got an organization with some clout behind them. So I like, it makes it feel more real. A realm full of superheroes feels more real when you can identify with some of the people. And not just their character traits, because you can identify with certain aspects of Iron Man or Captain America, but I mean actually identify with somebody's life. And it's hard to do that with the superpowers, but when you got a couple of regular people running around with no powers and no abilities, and I'm not talking Scarlett Johansson, I'm not talking Black Widow, because technically she doesn't have superpowers, yeah, but she's still better than any of us. So she's not technically a superhero, but she's still not the everyday person. And you see more of those in Jessica Jones with the neighbors and the clients. It's a hoot. The Purple Man. Oh my god, so good. Easily the most evil and vicious villain that Marvel has ever created. And we are in spoiler territory. I was so disappointed that they killed him because that's all I wanted out of the show was don't kill the Purple Man. Don't kill the Purple Man. But as the show went on, they pointed the plot down a path where he had to die. I mean, they made it more and more. They painted themselves, and I'm sure they did it on purpose, but they painted themselves into a corner where the Purple Man had to die. And I was a little disappointed in that because he was just such a good villain. So villainous. Oh my god, just pure evil. But it was identifiable evil because if you think about yourself, if you grew up with those abilities, grew up with them, would you be that much different? I mean, we'd like to think that we would be, but would you really be? The moment where he tells the cop, you can leave now, and the cop starts to walk away, and he says, no, not that way, and then points over the balcony. That's when you know you've got yourself a good villain. Oh, he was so good. So that was one of two issues I had, was the fact that it killed him. Another issue I had was kind of with the pacing. Around the middle, it felt like all of a sudden the writers realized they had more time to fill because the story seems to... It feels like there's some filler going on. And specifically, I'm talking about the brief plot detour of maybe the Purple Man can be a good guy, using him with the hostage crisis and all that. it felt like padding. I liked the show overall. I just I I don't remember feeling like when I watched Daredevil that there was padding, that there was an episode or two that we could have done without or that we could have written around. Jessica Jones felt that way. Not for terribly long. It didn't detract. I still enjoyed it overall. It just felt like it wasn't a 13-hour movie. It was 2 6-hour movies and some filler. Um, so anyway, Daredevil season 2 comes out a couple months from now. Uh, I'm not sure how I feel about Iron Fist. I got to be honest. And it's embarrassing. That's my laundry. I'm not sure how I feel about Iron Fist. I don't know much about him. It's certainly going to be odd putting the magical kung fu fighter in with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but I'm sure it'll work out fine. I'm just not looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to Luke Cage now, just because he such a good presence in Jessica Jones. I'm really looking forward to the Luke Cage show and another season of Daredevil and Defenders. So I'm excited to see where this takes us. This one's gone on for a little while. I do want to do a vlog eventually about the possible oversaturation of superhero TV shows, but I feel like these Netflix ones are kind of their own category and don't apply. They're kind of like a subset of movies. I don't know. I think it's because they're designed for binge watching. They're not really a weekly show. They don't feel like they're part of the flood of TV shows. So we'll save that for another time. So yeah, if you enjoyed Jessica Jones, I highly recommend, even though it's expensive, going out and getting you one of these because it's a good story. The first story, I'll tell you this, just to wet your whistle. The first story involves her getting hired to track down a woman that's believed to be having an affair, and it turns out she may or may not be sleeping with Captain America. Yeah. So right off the bat, it's Jessica Jones dealing with this world of superheroes. Much more so than in the TV show. They're really very different in that respect, but both very enjoyable. So that's all I've got. See you guys next time.